All right, all praises to the Most High. I'm doing some deep digging into, again, like I said previously in my videos, being led to look deeply into Joseph Smith, being led to look deeply into Moroni in the Book of Mormon and the gold plates found up in New York by Joseph Smith and his lineage and where he came from. And I'm reading a very, very interesting review of a book about Mormonism and the magic behind it, or the occultism, or the esotericism behind it, the Book of Mormon, and going into Joseph Smith's lineage and his astrology. And I'm reading that Joseph Smith was what seems to be a high level occultist and somebody who was well versed into the finding of ancient relics, and he owned many ancient relics or talismans. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. But right off the bat, it started off of a video I was watching on YouTube, and a guy in the video had a very interesting tattoo that I just had to quickly look up, of an Old English lion and five crosses. So I began to look into the Old English art style of the lion that is depicted on many of the Jacobites, or what represents the tribe of Judah in the Middle Ages, or in England, or an Old English lion at the time, that you can see on many of the crests of the families of England or Scotland or Ireland, even going into Germany and other places. That in many of the coat of arms, you can see the Old English style lion. And that wasn't where I wanted to stop. I wanted to look up the symbol of the tribe of Joseph, the tribe of Ephraim, which would be located over here in the Americas, and that was brought over here to the Americas. So I started looking it up, and it gives you two animals. It gives you the ox, the wild ox, or the bull, or the unicorn. But the story that sticks is that it's represented by the horns, something that shows the horns. And the more you look into it, the more you see or you read that it's a bull, and you read in many places that it's the wild ox. As you see here, the wild ox represents the united house of Joseph, which includes the sons of Ephraim and Manasseh. And Ephraim, it says, took the reins of Joseph, took the prophecy of Joseph, and who his lineage will be known by in the latter days, right? Ephraim. So Ephraim is symbolized by the wild ox, while Judah is symbolized by the lion, as we all know, the Lion of Judah. Now, this makes me immediately think into the bison, or the buffalo, the American buffalo, which went extinct. Is this why they went overboard? Were they performing some type of spiritual ritual or spiritual attack on the tribe of Ephraim, Joseph, the indigenous copper-colored Americans that were over here, by destroying the buffalo, trying to represent or trying to spiritually show that they were destroying him? Remember what they say, or remember what was read: for every dead bison, or for every unalived buffalo, is an unalived Indian, an unalived member of the tribe of Ephraim, the indigenous copper-colored Shemitic inheritors of Turtle Island. I think it's safe to say that the representation that the Most High chose for the tribe of Joseph, which being inherited by Ephraim, was the American buffalo. He knew what he was going to do with Ephraim, and as I read in the last the last video I was reading through in the book of the Latter Days of Atlantis, going into the pamphlet that I had on the Book of Mormon, talking about how Yahushua came over here, who was known as Jesus, the priest of Melchizedek, one of the members of the Brotherhood of Light, of the Council of Light, that came down here to show us the way, the truth, and the light, to show us that in every generation, there's always going to be a remnant who follows the ways of the Most High, to remind us of who we are and where we came from. That he visited the continent, what is now known as North America or Central America, and he came to visit the Nephites, who were located, as we know today, down in the Yucatan Peninsula, and who knew how truly far their empire stretched, or their dealings stretched. It could go all the way up into California. I'm reading the book of 3 Nephi, which I keep on throwing into context of, they keep on saying, don't go up to the north, or we shouldn't go up to the north, or we escaped up to the north, or we escaped up to the, and there's even terms where it says the extreme north, where they were going to the far north, or people left to the far north of where they were located here in the Americas. meaning they branched up into the what would be known as North America or the USA, from Central America branching up and became wandering tribes that went up into the north. I think, or I believe, that I'm being led to see that the tribe of Joseph or the tribe of Ephraim is not necessarily the bull or the unicorn, but the American buffalo, the American bison. And that is why they spiritually and physically attacked the bison so much. There is no real proof or evidence that they were able to collect or really profit off of the buffalo, of this amount of slaughtering that they did of these creatures, these beautiful, majestic creatures up here. It seems like the Caucasian, or the people that arrived here, that would mow down these fields or these prairies full of bison with a Gatling gun, the new creation of the Gatling gun, Satan's new toy that he's gifted to them to clear off the Americas, of the Gatling gun that they use on many herds of these bison or buffalo. It seems to all make sense, and it seems to come together. American bison is a species of bison that is endemic to North America, which comes from the Latin buffalos, an antelope, a gazelle, or wild ox. The wild ox represents the united house of Joseph, which includes his sons Ephraim and Manasseh. Is the American buffalo considered a type of wild ox? Yes, both etymologically and biologically belonging to the same large family of cloven-hoofed animals. Are we looking at the symbol of the tribe of Joseph or the tribe of Ephraim right now? The Most High knew he would be sending, as we said, Yahushua, he has other sheep in his flock that he has to go visit, which were located over on the American continent. The American bison is very well known and renowned. I think you can argue it as an emblem for an America. On our side, as the eagle, the American bald eagle, is an emblem for the American Edomite or the American Roman, a revised Roman. They use the eagle, the American bald eagle, as their symbol. The symbol of the American bison is so important and has such lore, and the Amerindian tribes, or as I say now, or as I'm starting to say now, the Ameri-Israelite tribes of the Americas, the bison. Is this the representation? Is this the actual representation or the symbol of the tribe of Joseph or Ephraim and Manasseh? Now I've done a chart of the signs and stuff like that. I've drawn it. I've drawn actually. Let me see if I can go get it for you guys. Let me see if I find it on my phone. Now these are the 12 I did not include when I originally drew this, Manasseh and Ephraim. And when I put this on an old Facebook page that was very popular at the time, I don't think it's up nowadays. A creator, I think, took it down, which is sad. But I haven't been on Facebook in a long time. I deleted Facebook a while ago. And while it was deleted, I guess there wasn't much traction on the page where that used to be. But it had a really large amount of number. I think it had like 40,000 members. It was called Hebrew Israelite Artist, or Hebrew Israelite Art. And essentially, if you're an artist that was an Israelite, or an Israelite that was a very good artist, you can upload your art to a Facebook page. And for a period of time, it was very popular. I would upload all my art there, and I uploaded this there. And of course, somebody said, "Where's Manasseh and where's Ephraim?" And going back, I'm like, dang, like it all connects. All praises to the Most High. It all connects, because maybe I don't think I would have. The Holy Spirit would have guided me to it then, but this is what I drew a while ago representing the 12 tribes. Here is the records that I'm reading, or the studies that I'm reading on the book about Mormonism and magic that was written in the 1980s, but has context, and it has there's a lot of controversy surrounding this book, which shows me that there could be some importance to it or something in it, because they're trying to, a lot of the things that I found were deflecting it. A lot of the reviews were very sour towards it and saying, stay away from it. This dude doesn't know what he's talking about. But here I found is a somewhat neutral, positive one, saying this guy has some very interesting things in this book. It's going through the deep astrology of Joseph Smith. It's talking about a salamander that was also found from a personal account apparently from Joseph Smith himself to a neighbor, saying that there was a salamander or a frog, or not a frog, a toad. If you look at toad, they're connecting Joseph Smith with Capricorn. The toad is a symbol of earth and water together too, as well as a symbol of Capricorn. This is all very interesting. But I think the tribe of Joseph